only we understood, a reference to a hiding place we shared when I was a child in the garden of our old summer house. "If your father finds his first part before you do, it's too late," she warned urgently. The problem was that my father was returning from a business trip on Thursday, and I had barely 48 hours to find the truth before he took control again. I decided to call my mother that very night. Her voice on the phone was different. It was charged with an electric tension. She confessed that she had tried to tell me the truth 3 times in 20 years, but something always got in the way. My pregnancy, an unexpected arrival from my father, or my own unconscious denial. She asked me to find the second recording immediately, and that we not speak on the phone again. On Wednesday morning, I drove to the old farmhouse, and under the root of the old oak tree where we used to bury treasures, I found a small metal box containing the second USB drive and a folder of original documents. Upon reviewing the contents of the second recording, the magnitude of the deception was overwhelming. It wasn't just about money. My father had maintained a web of lies that included forging my mother's signature on high-risk loans and constantly monitoring our communications. The documentation proved that Hector had planned to empty the family accounts and disappear, leaving us with an insurmountable debt, precisely when my mother was no longer useful to him. My mother had spent 2 decades collecting every receipt, every email, and every audio recording to ensure that, when the time came, I would have the power to defend myself. On Thursday afternoon, Hector arrived home with his usual triumphant smile. Entering the living room, he found my mother and me sitting at the table, the folder of documents open. For the first time in my life, I saw my father's mask of security crumble. There were no shouts, only a heavy silence as he realized the charade was over. My mother stood up, no longer with her head bowed, but with the composure of someone finally freed from a 20-year burden. Today, my father lives far away, facing the legal consequences of his actions, and the seemingly perfect 42-year marriage has been reduced to what it always was, a facade. My mother and I have had to rebuild our relationship from scratch, learning to speak without fear. That gray wool coat didn't just hold a USB drive. It held the freedom Irene had woven for me, stitch by stitch, waiting for the moment I was strong enough to open the lining and face reality. My family's story isn't what I thought it was, but at least now it's a real story. There are no more secrets hidden in coats, no more silences that hurt more than the truth. I've learned that protection sometimes wears a guise of silence, but freedom only comes when you dare look directly into the eyes of what you fear most.